Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Now I already have uploaded a couple of boss rush videos, but obviously if you missed the video yesterday, I ended up taking my Hulkbuster to rank 3. Now partially it was for defense, but really I already wanted to take him up regardless whether he was or was not needed on Alliance or defense, because I really enjoy using this guy, and I think he is kind of actually floating under the radar for a lot of people, and he's also being relatively underrated in this community by a lot of people. But let's put all of that stuff aside and focus on what today's video is really about, and that is in fact the boss rush. And Hulkbuster actually, I think, did it in a very respectable speed. He did it in about 7 minutes, slightly over 7 minutes, by himself. He did every single fight, and let's jump right to it then. So let me just tap play here. As you can see, I am jazzing up Hulkbuster with some of the synergies that do all some neat, nice things. None of them are essential. None at all. Some of them make his armor break slightly more potent, some of them increase his special damage by 30%, some of them give him an extra armor up, and so on. So all of them are just used to jazz up his numbers slightly, but none of them actually affect core functionality or are vital for any of the fights that you're going to see in today's video. Now, also a fair disclaimer, this is actually my second run through. I did the first run through, and he did wonderful as well. Hulkbuster actually excelled more in the second run because I messed up in pretty much every single fight and I got hit at some point or another. And it was a very messy run. I think I made a mistake and error in every single fight, and I still managed to do the entire run purely with Hulkbuster and itemless. But this second time ago went quite a bit smoother. So I also find that was very quick. Basically, I got to my level 2 and the fight was over. Now against Sorcerer Supreme, here the key thing is I don't want her using any of her level 1s, because level 1s do the nullify aura thingy, and that is something I really do not want to happen. It's not the end of the world, you're not going to immediately like lose the fight or lose your damage output, but it's still rather something you'd avoid. And level 1s are also much trickier to punish afterwards, and you need to dex them, and level 2s are just simpler to deal with. And with this Sorcerer Supreme fight, even though she's stunning me, Hulkbuster is actually amazing for this fight, especially if you do manage to drop your level 2 while she's in corner, which I admittedly will fail at in this fight, because she just didn't want to put her block up, and well, that's partially my fault, definitely. So you can see I have not really pushed her in the corner. Now I do drop my level 2 here, but I can't really go into that heavy attack barrage afterwards. But at the same point, I am dealing a decent amount of damage, and at level 2 hits very hard. So does Hulkbuster's level 1 as well. Unfortunately, she does use her level 1 here, which I absolutely hate, which will cause me to kind of like stick around. So I definitely think that Hulkbuster actually can do this entire thing even significantly quicker, because again, by no means this is like a perfect run with a wonderful AI being cooperative, or I'm getting good RNG or anything like that. And yeah, so here we can see that she's at like 26%, which is fair enough. She's going into her level 2. I'm getting a ton of willpower heal, which is always helpful. I'm going to drop my level 2 regardless here. At this point, she's at 17%. And I'm just going to go for it here. I'm going to go for my level 1, finish it with a nice solid 20k non-crit, special attack 65 hits. So this fight took slightly longer, partially because of my own ineptitude using Hulkbuster. I definitely need to put in a bit more practice with this guy as well, because there are little kind of like tricks that you can do to force opponent going to the block and things like that. Now this fight I knew Hulkbuster is going to be insanely good for. Hulkbuster absolutely cheeses this fight and any fight where you have increased power gain or your special attacks cost less power, because Hulkbuster does have a guaranteed stun on level 1, and it is a very useful thing that not all that many champions have in this contest. And that means basically I can infinitely stun lock anyone and finish the fight with a solid 40k level 1, 45k heavy attack. So that was a very quick, stress-free fight indeed. Now we're going to move on to Jubilee, and Hulkbuster actually has a decent Jubilee matchup here as well, because he has 2 special attacks that are very potent with controlling Jubilee's power, which is kind of like the name of the game here. You can do this fight with any champion, and ideally you want to get 3 bars of power, and then just don't use your special attack, and that kind of like takes care on one of the nodes. Then if you avoid inflicting debuffs on her, that takes care of another node, and then you don't have all that much to worry about. But sometimes Jubilee does what she's doing here, and she doesn't really want to throw her special attacks all that much, and before long I find myself cornered, and that definitely can be very annoying. So here at this point I just decided that instead of trying to bait out them special attacks, I'm gonna go for a level 3. Why not? Level 3 has also quite potent power drain associated to it, and then you have shock debuffs and all sorts of good stuff, and you can just go to the town afterwards because those shocks significantly improve your damage output. And basically shortly after that level 2, the Jubilee fight is done. 33 hits, quite a solid, respectable speed. Now we're gonna move up to Tigra, and again, Hulkbuster does function extremely well against Tigra, primarily due to the fact that his level 2 does have projectiles, and his special attacks do a crap ton of damage, and that is going to be pretty much the entire fight here. It's going to be as simple as get to level 2, use the level 2, and move on to next fight. So I can evade Tigra's level 2s fairly consistently, but if it's possible, I rather kind of prefer not to, unless she has like increased power gain nodes or something like that. I typically just stick to baiting out level 1s. Right, so again, she is throwing her specials very happily. That's absolutely wonderful. Now I'm gonna manage to hit in her block. I'm gonna go for my level 2 that crits, and yeah, that's the entire fight there. With pull, with power shield, that level 2 hit insane amount of damage. Wonderful. Now the last fight left, Storm Pyramid X, and once again Hulkbuster actually has something very good for this fight, because the most annoying thing in this fight is the fact that whenever you glance, you take damage back, and that is a significant amount of damage. You can see that in 5 hits I have taken down 20% of my own health basically. However, whenever Storm is power locked and power drained, she kind of loses her ability to glance, and then you also take care of that damage back node. Now I will make a mistake in this fight, which will almost cost me the nice run that I have been having, but we're gonna get to that bridge when we cross it. First, obviously I have to get to my own level 2, and ideally shoot it in her block. Now she isn't gonna really want to cooperate with me. She's gonna be like strictly very aggressive here, so I don't like when that kind of happens. Like obviously with Hulkbuster there is that thing where you do want your level 2 to go into the opponent's block whenever you activate it, and if opponents don't not put their block up, it can be frustrating sometimes, but it's again a matter of experience. So here I go for my level 2. It does very good amount of damage, and here I go for a heavy attack. Wonderful. And I go for level 1. That was a mistake. I should not have activated that level 1. We can see that I took a ton of damage back from that glancing because my hits were guaranteed to glance, but luckily my awakened ability and willpower healing and everything else took me back in this fight, and I survived it, and 39 hits, so jobs are good. And even though again it wasn't quite a perfect run. So that is pretty much it for today's video. I did want to say that I have planned a couple more Hulkbuster videos coming on the channel shortly. I definitely did enjoy Hulkbuster already before, because I had him at rank 2 for quite a long time, and I have been meaning to make Hulkbuster videos already before I took him to rank 3. Now, since he has gone up to rank 3, obviously that kind of like A, gives me extra motivation, B, makes these videos even more interesting because the numbers are bigger, and so is his ability to deal with many different threats. So that is something that you can more than likely expect on the channel. And today in general I should have a quite busy day when it comes to videos, so definitely do stay tuned for that. If you have any other good suggestions which champions you would like to go through the boss rush before the boss rush itself goes away, I think we still have about a week to have fun in that quest. Definitely do drop those in comment section. I will take a look, and if possible I'll try to do videos for a few more champions. And yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video. I definitely hope that you guys have enjoyed it. And if you have, please do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit that sub button, perhaps share the video with your friends in case they are unaware of how cool Hulkbuster can be. that is about it for now, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about